you don't get enough niacin, you get a horrible disease called pellagra. So when corn is taken over to Europe, especially poor populations end up becoming dependent on corn because it was cheap and easy to grow in lots of places. So they would all get pellagra, and it took a long time for Europeans and Americans to figure out that it was actually this lack of this vitamin B niacin that was causing this horrible disease, pellagra. And I tell the story of Joseph Goldberger, who actually figures out, but the medical establishment won't accept what's actually the true causal model of what's happening, that it's actually the corn not having enough of this B vitamin that's causing the illness.
And so what this all leads up to is a pretty shocking conclusions for the children of the Enlightenment that we are, which is it turns out that superstitions are actually super useful.
Yeah, at least in some cases. So we shouldn't assume just because we see what seems to be a superstition or a taboo or some ancient practice that seems outdated or archaic. It might be, but it also might hold some wisdom or embody in it some traditional know-how that is not clearly understood by the users of the practice itself.
And this goes into, I mean, your book really sort of fits within all of the stuff that's being done on Homo Economicus, Damasio's work on Descartes' error, David Sloan Wilson's work on multi-level selection. It's this whole new view of humanity where we're understanding that we are not primarily rational creatures who sit around, evaluate the facts, and then make reasoned choices. We have that capacity, but it's not our default state.
Right, and so the one of the key things in the book is that the secret of our success is that we can selectively learn from other members of our social group. That what we are is not good at figuring stuff out or innately intelligent, innately rational, but really we're good selective copiers, so that over generations this process can create all these kind of cool cultural adaptations that help us survive and spread into diverse environments and construct social institutions without the individuals themselves having an understanding of it. So we've been talking about kind of these food products and kind of technological adaptations, but it's also the case that we don't understand how our institutions work. Mm-hmm. So how marriage systems traditionally built alliances across groups, or how monogamous marriage suppresses competition amongst males within a society. So there's neat ways in which our social institutions manipulate our psychology.
Well, and to take that even further, most of us don't understand how the economy or democracy works.
Right.
But nonetheless, the emergent intelligence, even without us necessarily understanding why we do the things that we do or what matters or what the functional parts are, through a process of collective experimentation, we can slowly but surely iterate our way towards some sort of positive solution.
Right, and that idea of collective experimentation or collective intelligence, what I call the collective brains that humans have, is created by the fact that we can share information and learn from each other over many generations, and it's that process that really generates a lot of the fancy innovations we see.